Welcome to r/I Do Work Here Lady, where we share stories about employees that are mistaken for customers. And today we have 4 good stories, so subscribe, smash the like button, and let's begin. The first story. Since y'all seem to like my telecom story, I'll give you one about when I worked in firearms sales. I get very bored very easily, so I tend to change jobs every couple years. I worked for a decent-sized sporting goods chain as their firearms, hunting, and fishing manager, after another chain poached all our other managers. I had a ton of experience, as I grew up in the sticks in northern Michigan, and firearms is one of my favorite hobbies in the world. I build and repair guns for neighbors and family members, and I sideline as a volunteer instructor for local ranges for kids. Now, I help out my fellow soldiers with marksmanship testing, since the Army tends to not have any instructors who have time to train people, so they don't fail. Just some background so you know how ridiculous this is. Me, OM, old man. CG, counter guy who works under me who's like 60. Doesn't know a ton, but he's good at sales and paperwork. AM, assistant manager who is above me, but knows nothing about my department, so leaves me be 99% of the time. OM, walking up to the counter. I'm interested in buying a rifle for ram hunting. CG, alright, do you know what you're looking for, or do you want some information on what we have to offer? OM, well, I've never been ram hunting before, but my wife bought me a trip to the Rockies to go, and I need a rifle for it. Do you have any suggestions? CG, I'm not much for hunting myself, but my manager has actually been ram hunting in Colorado before, so I'm sure he could offer you some advice. Cue me, 22 years old, beard and glasses, looking like some random dude outside the coffee shop, who's either a hipster or a bum. Me, I heard you're looking for a rifle for ram hunting. I can certainly help you make a selection. I actually built my own rifle to go with my uncle 2 years ago. OM, oh, that's nice. Turns back to CG. So I've heard good things about .308 rifles, and they seem fairly affordable. Do you have any good ones in stock? Me, well, .308 won't really get the job done ram hunting. You need a heavy round that not only will survive high winds in the mountains, but something heavy enough to knock the ram down, so it doesn't run off and get itself stuck in a hard-to-reach spot. I highly recommend .30-06 if you're looking for something affordable. Or maybe OM, I was asking him if he had any .308. I don't need your advice. I'm amazed you can even be his manager, let alone claim to know anything about hunting. FYI, I get this reaction from older guys a lot. The assumption is that because I'm young I can't possibly know anything about hunting, fishing, or outdoor stuff. My wife gets the same deal about guns, but can actually outshoot me. CG, actually he's our resident guy for all things outdoors. I mostly just handle sales and paperwork. My background is in insurance sales, just didn't like retirement so I took this as a part-time gig. He really does know a lot. Me, thanks CG. Thinking all the problems were solved, I turned back to OM. Like I was saying, .30-06 packs a good punch for affordable rifles, but a round like a .458 Weatherby will knock a ram down no matter where you hit it. Even if you don't hit it, you might just bury it in an avalanche. I laugh, CG laughs, OM just stands there grumpily. OM, shot many guns then have you? Me, every day since I was 3. I'm also a gunsmith if you ever want custom work done. OM, so you've killed lots of deer, rams, that sort of thing? Me, 17 deer, 1 ram, 4 boars, 2 elk, and the odd assortment of coyotes, coons, squirrels. 1 bear, but it was already pretty hurt from an older shot. OM, Listen, I know when someone is trying to BS me. I came here for .308. I'm leaving with .308, and I don't want to deal with you anymore. Me, alright, I'm just saying it's not anyone's first choice for ram hunting, but I'll bring out some .308 for you to look at. OM, no, I'm not dealing with your disrespectful attitude any longer. In fact, I'd like to talk to your manager about your customer service problems. Me, well, I'm the manager here, but I can get you our assistant store manager too. OM, whatever, just call him up so he can fire you. I call AM over to the gun counter. AM is this super cool stoner dude in his 30s, who plays ultimate frisbee on the weekends, and doesn't wear shoes outside of work. AM, yo, what's the problem here? OM, your employee here is trying to BS me and get me to buy some expensive rifle, instead of what I came in here for. AM, turning to me, what's the deal? Me, he said he was going ram hunting and wanted a .308, and I told him it wouldn't be enough to hunt the Rockies for ram. OM, he was incredibly disrespectful and I'd like to see you write him up for it. AM, well, I'm sure he wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but he does know more than anyone else in the store about hunting and guns. OM, I don't care. I don't want to deal with him any longer. AM, that's fine. I can take out a few rifles for you and CG can file your ATF paperwork. I go handle AM's duties up front for about 30 minutes, while this guy's gun purchase gets processed. Apparently he also wanted to go fishing on his trip to Idaho, so he's browsing our fishing stock after taking the rifle out to his car, and asks the cashier if someone can come help him. Cashier says he'll send the fishing manager back to assist him. I round the corner to come help. OM, nope, heck nope. He turns and walks away, out the door and to his car, leaving the rod and lures he was gonna buy. I just kinda laughed about it with AM. Since we get interactions like this about once a week, I'd love to know how his trip went with a subpar rifle. The second story is the tone that security prevented me from doing my job. I used to work as an entertainment lighting electrician and console programmer. One of my busiest times a year was working New York Fashion Week, both spring and fall. It was a lot of organized chaos, but I enjoyed my time there. The most important place backstage is the hair and makeup stations in the dressing rooms. Rows of tables with mirrors and lights, with power for the hairstylists and makeup artists, for things like blow dryers and curling irons, and courtesy power for the models for phones and such. While we try to make sure that each station has at least 2 dedicated 20-amp circuits, invariably someone will come in and plug their equipment into the same power strip as the workstation next to them, and it will trip a breaker. Now, runway shows are absolute chaos backstage. Models, hairdressers, makeup artists, production assistants, press, designers, it gets pretty crowded backstage. Security is understandably tight during this whole process, but guards don't actually come in until the day of the show. Because we're already in the space long before the show actually starts, I always try to introduce myself to the security guards so they know who I am. Usually wearing a radio and a tool belt is enough for most people to clue in who we are, and if that fails, the all-access pass or wristband seals in. But I always like to take the extra step and be prepared. So one fine show day, I get a frantic call on my radio from the lead production assistant, LPA. This to fizz, there's no power at the hair and makeup stations. Now, if it's actually just one station that's out, or all of them, doesn't really make a difference. Even having one station out can be an emergency. So I start making my way over. On my way, I encounter LPA, who looks very relieved to see me and motions for me to follow. Backstage is packed to the gills, so she makes it to the dressing room entrance a little bit before I do. As I'm about to go in, I get stopped by security. Unfortunately, it's not the same guy that was at the dressing rooms before the show, when I was introducing myself, so this guy doesn't know me. Security, models only backstage. Me, it's okay, I'm on the tech team. I show him my white wristband. Security, nice try, gold wristbands only backstage. He grabs my arm and starts pulling me away from the dressing room entrance. Security, you need to go. Just then I get another call on my radio. LPA, this the fizz, where are you? I key my mic and respond, I'm being escorted out by security at the moment. Something is now finally clicked in Meatlug's head. Unfortunately for him, he was too slow to respond. LPA comes storming out of the dressing room. LPA, security, what the F are you doing? He works here. He's my electrician, let him go. Security, but he doesn't have a gold wristband. LPA, gold is for dressing room only. White is for all access. Now let go of him. He let go of me, apologized, and I went about my business. I don't disparage the man for trying to do his job, but he probably should have been paying more attention when his boss was going over wristband colors for the day. The third story is, don't let the uniform fool you, buddy. I work for a little store chain that basically sells stuff other stores can't, because it's overstock or damaged boxes or whatever. We have uniforms of a black shirt with the store name across the chest, name tag, apron, and even a big logo on our back, so we can be identified from either side. You would think wearing the store's name on like 4 different ways across my clothing would make me easily identifiable, but I still get "Do you work here?" like constantly. I'm also only one of like 2 people who work there that are taller/larger than average, aka very easy to see from across the little store. Important in a moment. Usually I work in the electronics section of the store, which at the time of this story was in the corner to the right of the entrance. So normally a cashier would just send someone our way if they needed any sort of item that would be in that section. Keep in mind the door is maybe 60 feet from my section, maybe not even that far. There's a clear line of sight from my section to the door, and I can see the customers the entire time they're headed my way. Anyway, one day it was super slow, so instead of standing behind the counter, I was straightening up a display maybe 4 feet away, and I hear the cashier say my name, and so I look up to see her sort of gesturing a guy my way. Again, I can see and hear him, but I guess he had already been making some sort of fuss, because she radios me that a gentleman is looking for, I don't even remember, a cord or something? So I stand there in plain sight waiting for him. Guy takes his sweet time coming over. I greet him and ask how I can help him, the usual customer service welcome, and he just looks at my general direction for a moment before walking back to the register and complains that there was nobody there to help him. This time I see the cashier full on point at me, and I can hear her say, in her kind of loud customer service voice, X is our electronics associate, and he'll be more than happy to help you, and the guy comes my way again. I had, in this guy's defense, moved away a little bit, and was on the end of a short aisle of maybe chest-high shelves that we kept chargers and stuff on, so I assumed maybe he just didn't see me. But sure enough, he comes over again. Stops for a second and looks around, this time even making eye contact with me, before going to the front again. This time another coworker was up front, so the cashier had her watch the register and actually walked the guy over to me again until he was 2 feet away, points at me and repeats her, This is X, and he'll be able to help you out." And I see this like recognition cross over his face as he realizes I work there and have now greeted him 3 times and held eye contact because I work there, not because I'm being creepy. I honestly don't know what the guy thought. He did get his cord, but I kind of wonder about him because I watched him go up to the only register open. Out of 2 physical registers, complete with computers and card readers and all sorts of register equipment, as well as a cashier standing there, and ask if he could check out there. And the last story is, no, I'm not a nut job, I'm here to help. Okay, so this was a good 20 years ago. Not gonna mention the celebrity as I don't want to point them out, because they've been having some health issues in the last few years. I was working Saturday mornings at a small electronics store located in a very quiet area. Trouble finding a park on a weekday, but weekends are dead as. Nothing else was open in the area on the weekends, so you had to make sure you packed a lunch or you would go hungry until you left for the day. The only reason we were open at all was to allow for pickup and drop-off of warranty items for people who could not come during normal business hours. Usually only 1 or 2 people the whole day, so usually you could get everything done then play computer games or read a book for the other 4 hours. It was a pretty good money earner for pretty much just showing up. Anyway, one morning, I've just opened up, still in my torn-up street jacket, and having a quick smoke at the front of the store before I start getting into a hard morning of doing nothing. I see a certain A-list celebrity walking down the street, with what is obviously a warranty repair under his arm. I know he's coming to the shop, and I'm a little annoyed that I'll have to cut short my morning smoke. Anyway, he spots me, spotting him. He sees me put out my smoke, obviously reacting to his presence, and then starts to look visibly concerned. As I know he's coming into the store, I give him the nod of recognition. He slows down and tries to avoid me. I realize now that he's scared of me and obviously thinks I'm a stalker. He ducks into the store hoping to find refuge from this crazy fan. I follow in directly behind him, and his alarm levels go into overload. The look on his face is complete distress. He starts looking around the store to see if he can find someone to help him. A hiding spot? Maybe a weapon? I quickly step behind the counter. "Good morning, sir. How may I be of assistance today?" I have never seen anyone so visibly relieved as everything sunk in. All my actions now made complete and logical sense to him. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Have a nice day.